Psychology says people who have no friends are often misunderstood, not broken, not antisocial, and not failures. In many cases, their brain works in a way that makes normal social life feel draining, shallow, or simply unnecessary. And if you've gone long periods without friends, there are real psychological reasons behind it. Reasons that have nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with how your mind is wired. Because here's what most people don't understand. The absence of friendship doesn't always signal a problem. Sometimes it signals something deeper, something more complex, and in many cases, something more evolved. Your brain might be operating on a frequency that most social circles simply can't match. And today we're diving into the real psychological patterns that explain why some of the most aware, sensitive, and intelligent people walk through life with empty contact lists. If you're the kind of person who's been made to feel like something's wrong with you just because you don't have a large friend group, then make sure to subscribe right now. Because what we're about to uncover might completely change how you see yourself. High standards for connection. Let's start with the most misunderstood reason of all. People without friends usually aren't avoiding relationships, they're avoiding surface-level relationships. And there's a massive difference between the two. Psychology shows that individuals with deeper thinking patterns have what researchers call selective social orientation. This means they prefer quality over quantity, not as a choice, but as a cognitive necessity. Their brain literally rejects shallow interaction the same way your body rejects bad food. Think about it. When was the last time you sat through small talk and felt energized afterward? Probably never. Because for people like this, small talk isn't just boring, it's cognitively exhausting. It's like being asked to run a marathon on a treadmill. You're expending energy, but you're not actually going anywhere. They don't want gossip about people they don't care about. They don't want to hear the same stories recycled with different names. They don't want friendships built on convenience, proximity, or social obligation. What they want is depth. They want conversations that challenge them, connections that inspire them, and relationships where masks aren't necessary. So instead of forcing social connections that feel empty, they choose to stay alone until they find something real. And psychology backs this up. Studies on friendship satisfaction show that people with fewer but deeper friendships report higher life satisfaction than those with large, shallow social networks. It's not about how many people know your name, it's about how many people know your soul. And when you have high standards for connection, you're not going to settle. You'd rather sit in silence with yourself than sit in noise with people who don't understand you. And that's not cold. That's self-respect. Their brain needs more recovery time. Here's something most people don't realize. Some brains are built differently when it comes to social energy. And if you're someone who needs days to recover after a single social event, you're not weird. You're just wired with what psychologists call high sensory processing sensitivity. This isn't introversion. This is deeper. Your nervous system processes social stimuli more intensely than the average person. You pick up on micro-expressions, voice tones, energy shifts, and unspoken tension. Your brain is constantly scanning, analyzing, and absorbing information that others don't even notice. And all of that takes energy, massive amounts of energy. After a conversation, your brain doesn't just move on. It replays the interaction. It analyzes what was said, what wasn't said, what the person really meant, and how you came across. This is called post-interaction rumination, and it's exhausting. So while other people can go from one social event to the next without skipping a beat, you need recovery time. You need silence. You need solitude to process everything your brain just absorbed. And when people don't understand this, they label you as distant, cold, or antisocial. But you're not any of those things. Your brain simply burns more energy during social contact, and it needs longer breaks to recharge. Psychology research shows that people with high sensory sensitivity have more active mirror neurons. These are the brain cells responsible for empathy and emotional attunement. So, ironically, the reason you struggle with socializing is because you feel too much, not too little. You're absorbing everyone else's emotional state, and it drains you. This doesn't mean you dislike people. It means your brain needs space to function at its best. And once you accept that about yourself, you stop apologizing for it. Strong independence and self-sufficiency. Here's where it gets interesting. Many people with no friends don't rely on social validation to feel good. And in a world that's obsessed with external approval, that makes them anomalies. Psychology calls this low social dependency, and it's actually a sign of psychological maturity. Most people need constant feedback from others to feel okay about themselves. They need likes, comments, texts, invitations, and validation to maintain their sense of worth. But people with low social dependency have something rare: internal stability. They can entertain themselves for hours without feeling lonely. They can solve problems alone without needing a brainstorming session. They can sit with their thoughts without spiraling into anxiety. And they find comfort within their own mind, which is something most people are terrified of. Instead of needing a circle around them, they create their own world. And they're often happier than people expect, because happiness that comes from within is sustainable. Happiness that depends on other people is fragile. Studies in positive psychology show that self-sufficient individuals report lower levels of anxiety and depression compared to those who rely heavily on social networks for emotional regulation. Why? Because they're not at the mercy of other people's availability, mood, or approval. This doesn't mean they're incapable of connection. It means they don't need connection to survive. And that's powerful, because when you don't need people, you can choose them freely. You can form relationships based on genuine compatibility, not desperation. If you're relating to everything we've covered so far and you want more content that explains the psychology behind who you really are, don't forget to subscribe, because we're just getting started, and the next points might hit even closer to home. Past experiences shape their trust threshold. Now, let's talk about something uncomfortable but necessary. People with no friends often have one thing in common: a past experience that made them cautious. It could be betrayal, someone they trusted deeply who turned on them. It could be childhood neglect, where they learned early that people are unreliable. Or it could be years of being surrounded by the wrong people: fake friends, energy vampires, or people who only showed up when it was convenient. Psychology shows that once trust is broken, the brain becomes protective and selective. It's not bitterness, it's survival. Your brain learned that not everyone deserves access to you, and now it guards that access carefully. Neuroscience research reveals that betrayal activates the same brain regions as physical pain. So when someone breaks your trust, your brain remembers it the same way it remembers touching a hot stove. It doesn't want to get burned again. This is why people with trust wounds often have smaller social circles or none at all. They've learned to value peace over proximity. They've learned that being alone is better than being with people who drain, manipulate, or disappoint them. And this doesn't mean they can't form friendships. It just means they think twice, 3 times, maybe 10 times before giving someone access to their life. They observe, they test, they wait. And only when someone proves themselves over time do they let them in. Some people call this being guarded. Psychology calls it having healthy boundaries. And in a world where everyone wants instant access to everyone, Having boundaries is revolutionary. They have a deeper inner world. Here's the final piece of the puzzle, and it might be the most important one. Psychologists say people who spend long periods alone usually have a stronger inner world. And by stronger, we mean richer imagination, sharper intuition, more clarity, and deeper self-awareness. They think more, they observe more, they feel more, and this depth can make regular social circles feel unrelatable. When you spend time in your own mind, you develop a relationship with yourself that most people never experience. You understand your patterns, your triggers, your desires, and your fears. You know why you react the way you do. You know what you need and what you don't. And when you have that level of self-awareness, surface-level friendships feel jarring. It's like speaking a different language. Most people are still figuring out who they are, and you've already mapped your entire inner landscape. Psychology research on solitude shows that people who engage in regular alone time demonstrate higher levels of creativity, emotional regulation, and problem-solving ability. Why? Because solitude gives the brain space to process, reflect, and integrate experiences without external noise. This depth isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It's what allows you to see things others miss, feel things others ignore, and understand things others overlook. And yes, it can feel isolating, because not everyone operates at that frequency. But it also means that when you do find someone who matches your depth, the connection is profound.
So, if you have no friends, or very few, it doesn't always mean something is wrong with you. It might simply mean your mind works differently, with more awareness, more sensitivity, more depth, and higher standards for connection. You're not broken for needing more recovery time. You're not cold for being self-sufficient. You're not damaged for having trust issues after being hurt. And you're not weird for having a rich inner world that most people can't relate to. Sometimes the people with the strongest minds walk alone for a while, not because they can't find companionship, but because they refuse to settle for connections that drain them, diminish them, or distract them from who they're becoming. And maybe, just maybe, being friendless isn't the tragedy society makes it out to be. Maybe it's a chapter, a necessary one, where you learn to be your own best company before you invite anyone else into your world. If you want more psychology videos that explain your personality in ways school never taught you, hit that subscribe button right now. And if this video resonated with you, leave a like so we know to create more content like this. Because the next video on screen might reveal something about yourself you've never realized. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.